We might have a couple stragglers, but let's go ahead and jump into it. Like I said at the beginning when people were joining, this is a webinar about Lawmatics and answering legal. It's about how to win and impress more qualified leads. Little quick introduction about myself. My name is Devon. I'm the product manager at Lawmatics, and I've been a part of the team since 2021. And I am the proud owner of a 3-year-old corgi / monster named Stitch. If we got any dog lovers out there.
So I'm Nick Werker. I am the marketing director at Answer and Legal. If you have heard of me or seen me before, yes, up until like 2 weeks ago, I had very, very long hair. And like I mentioned before, I am a crazy person, admittedly, and I cut it all off. And now I look like this. But yeah, I've been working in the marketing department for Answer and Legal for close to 10 years. I'm on a podcast called Everything Except the Law. And I would like to shout out my dog as well. I'm sad that I didn't put it in here. I have a pit bull Australian Shepherd who is more anxious than me, believe it or not, named Alfie. Shout out Alfie.
Shout out Alfie. All right, here we go. Now to get in to the nitty gritty.
So I'm a big marketing guy. First of all, thank you guys for showing up. But I'm a big marketing guy. Today, we're here to not talk about marketing. We actually want to talk to you about what happens after a client sees your ad or a video or a blog post, any part of your marketing out there. What happens after that? So what often happens is that a lot of the times law firms will blame their marketing for not getting new clients, when in fact, it's that the process of capturing the client once they interact with you on the web or a phone call is not optimized, and not, I should say that there is no process. So we want to address that today in today's webinar.
Awesome. So today in our webinar, we are going to be talking about how you can increase your chances of connecting with new leads, making sure that that's a smooth process by streamlining with Lawmatics and Answering Legal, and how you can make prospective clients feel more at home, feel more comfortable because of that streamlined intake process, making sure it's not clunky, not disconnected, but that communication is consistent and smooth. Again, like I said, we're going to talk about how using these platforms together can make the onboarding of new clients easier than ever.
Okay, so Answering Legal. First of all, if you've never heard of Answering Legal, we are an answering service. We answer phones. We have virtual receptionists. We're based solely in the US. So no gimmicks, no lies or anything like that. If you've heard of answering services before and you don't like them, we try to be everything that you do like about answering services, and everything against what you don't like. So we have receptionists all over the US. We're bilingual, English and Spanish. I don't want to talk too much or brag about us, but I am very happy to announce that we did recently just integrate with Lawmatics. A ton of our customers are using Lawmatics. So if you're here and you don't actually use them, it is an amazing platform that you can combine with an answering service to really streamline your communications with clients.
Awesome. And then a quick introduction to Lawmatics. If you're not familiar with it, we are a legal CRM that helps automate your intake process based on your workflow. It's completely customizable based on your law firm. You can build out forms, documents. You can do billing in Lawmatics if you want to, again, to make sure that everything's super streamlined. Again, using those custom forms to intake your potential new clients, and you can use those forms to create new matters if those leads are coming in from your virtual receptionist that you could use through Answering Legal.
All right, so now we're going to talk about actual real stuff. We're going to talk about how to increase your odds of connecting with new leads. So I'm guessing that if you showed up to this webinar, that you sort of identify with the premise of you're getting a lot of leads from your marketing, you're investing into your law firm website, into your social presence, you're creating content, you're looking to grow your business in any way, shape, or form. What I want to do is talk to you about what happens after you get that lead. So data from Law Technology today says that 35% of the time, phone calls from prospective clients are not answered. And I actually want to give kudos to lawyers, because when I used to read the Clio Legal Trends report back in like 2018, say, that number was so much worse. So it's still kind of bad. Like 35% of phone calls going unanswered is still pretty bad. But I do understand that due to the nature of being a lawyer, and especially being a solo lawyer or a small firm, it's so hard to answer those phone calls. So the problem is that when prospective clients are ready to reach out, they will do so with a phone call. But like I mentioned before, the practice of law is really hard. You're in court, you're meeting with clients, you are on a different phone call, you're working on a brief, you are, I don't know, doing any number of things that it takes to be a human being. So the way that Answering Legal tries to help, and I know providing new leads with a live, professional, caring voice, yes, my marketing jargon. The way that Answering Legal tries to help is we serve as your front end receptionist as much as you want us to be. So on a 24/7 basis, we're 24/7, 365. Is it leap year? This year it's 366. We had a leap year day already, Nick. Pay attention. But we'll serve as your front office receptionist and basically do everything that you would want your normal receptionist to do. We will answer the phone the way you want us to answer. So if you're, let's see, Cody Hayes, you're getting a shout out. If you're the law office of Cody Hayes, we'll answer. Good morning, good afternoon, law office of Cody Hayes. How may we help you? We follow all your instructions. I don't want to get too far into it, but making sure that you're answering every phone call will at least give you that extra 35% of speaking with that customer and letting them know that your firm is ready, available, professional, and cares enough to answer that call and address their questions as soon as possible.
We're going to talk about streamlining your client intake process. So the client intake process, when you're handling everything manually, it can be a huge time killer, right? You're having to worry about everything, sending the email, sending the text, doing the follow-ups. What we're going to talk about further is how you can use Answering Legal and Lawmatics together so that it's a more natural flow, you're better organizing, and your potential new clients are having a better experience, which will translate to, more clients for your firm.
What we want to talk about is using these two technologies together in order to streamline these communications. So what Answering Legal does is allow you to create customized legal intake scripts that our receptionist will go through with your caller and make sure you get the most accurate and up-to-date information as humanly possible. So like I mentioned before, we can customize the greetings, but really when you go through sort of like, I call it a preliminary intake, because you can have your own follow-up and real like closer intake team call the new client back and make sure that they're really qualified. But on the first call, it's super important to know that you've got a real lead on the line, that this person has, a case that matches your description. Let's talk about personal injury for a second, because I know personal injury is super easy to talk about. Say someone calls in, they're Nick Werker. I slipped and fell in a bank. I'm calling, who else is getting a shout out? Dan Eaton. I'm calling the law office of Dan Eaton, and here's the receptionist will ask the series of questions. They'll ask, what is the type of injury sustained? Where did it happen? Were you hospitalized? Did you see a doctor? Do you have insurance? They'll ask all these important questions so that you have all of the pertinent information for when you go to call that client back and close them as a customer. So the intake process there, right? We'll send you that. We have a mobile app, and we can send it via text, email. I can send you snail mail if you wanted, but that's insane to say. What we have been doing with Lawmatics is making sure that we can fill out your custom Lawmatics forms, and you can automate that so that say you have a personal injury intake form with Lawmatics. We'll match our fields to that form so that it creates a matter for you in Lawmatics automatically. Same thing if you could practice everything in the kitchen sink. Criminal defense, we'll fill out the criminal defense form. bankruptcy, you name it. We'll fill out that form. It'll create a new matter for you in Lawmatics so that you can streamline the way that you're working without having to do all those time killer things.
Awesome. And very similarly to what Nick talked about, in Lawmatics, our forms are totally customizable. So when that lead comes into answering legal, they pick up the phone, they get the information, and they map that over to Lawmatics. It'll create that matter for you also with that form submission to make sure that you're getting all of that information that you need for that lead. It can be practice area specific, like Nick said, it could be personal injury, could be estate planning, could be criminal defense. No matter what the practice area is, you can make sure that you're gathering the correct information and that all of that is showing up in Lawmatics, so that once that lead does come in, you're following up correctly based on practice area, or based on their case type. You know, if you're doing personal injury, it could be slip and fall. So you might have specific questions for that. You might need to gather maybe some, some insurance information, all of the questions, just to make sure that, again, when you do follow up with them, you already have as much information as you need. So when you do that, you're saving yourself time. So it's taking that manual work off of your shoulders and putting it onto our shoulders. It's eliminating errors because you don't have to worry about if you're asking the right questions or not. We're taking care of that for you. And you were able to customize that form to make sure that you are asking the right questions. And then it's keeping everyone on the same page so that some people aren't asking one question, some people are asking others, things are getting skipped over. It's just all organized, and it's all organized for you.
Using Answering Legal and Lawmatics together. Let's go. First of all, I want to apologize. I'm like a puppy. I get super excited and fired up about these things. I've been working here a long time. So like, this is like my home, so like when my home is doing really good, I get really excited. And I keep stepping on everything that Devon's supposed to say. So I apologize to Devon. I'm like getting way ahead of myself, but so we want to talk about this integration for law firms who use both Answering Legal and Lawmatics and having a direct integration between these two services makes this client intake process even simpler. It seems obvious, right? That if your receptionist takes a message for you and it automatically enters your CRM, that saves time. But I personally use my own answering service for all of like the comings and goings of running a marketing department and running an arm of a company. And all of my messages go directly into my CRM and all of my SOPs and workflows that I need. And it makes my life so much easier because I don't have to sit there and type in somebody's name again or start over or where is this document? It all ends up in one place. So all of the information gathered by Answering Legal's virtual receptionist is automatically imported into your forms in your Lawmatics software. And anything you want to do. So say you want to start a new arm of your law practice and you want to do, I was just talking about somebody about lemon law. You want to do lemon law now. You can have a lemon law form set up and you can start advertising and all of your workflows are just going to basically be duplicated and you can have an easy time building this section of your company. So without having to do anything, you can have prospective clients welcomed into your firm by your virtual receptionist, taken through a full legal intake process, and then get all of that information organized into your forms in Lawmatics. All right, let's do it. We want live questions. Do you have any questions? Sure, Stephen, I'm happy to explain pricing. Do you want to clarify whose pricing you're asking about, us, Answering Legal, or Lawmatics to Devon? So I'm going to go with Stephen first. So the receptionist service is volume-based pricing. We bill by the minute down to the second. And we don't charge for telemarketers or spam calls or say like your significant other calls. We don't charge for that. We'll just send you the message. The pricing starts at $3 a minute and goes all the way down to $2.25 a minute. And it's just depends on how much you use. Everything is flat rate billing. So you get a 2-week free trial with us, 400-minute free trial, whatever comes first. And we basically get a gauge on how much you're going to use in a 30-day window. So monthly, no contracts, no commitments. And we just offer you a flat rate going forward. If you like go past that rate by a bunch, you just get billed at the next package's minute rate.
Dan Kirby had a question about what happens when someone calls through answering legal. Do you have any written examples?
Let me see. I mean, I don't have any written examples, but off the top of my head, I can tell you exactly what you want to happen when somebody calls is exactly what will happen when someone calls. So how it works is, so say you sign up for a free trial. All we're going to do is get all of the information on how you want us to answer the calls. We have a whole triage system. So it's what questions you want us to ask, how you want us to answer the phones, who you want those messages to get sent to. But I think what you might be asking is how do we get the calls? So you just forward your phone number to us on a certain like ring basis. So if you want the opportunity to answer all of your calls first, and then we can always patch new clients back into you. There's any unlimited number of options, but we'll set it up so that your phone rings 3 or 4 times first. If you don't answer it, it just automatically forwards over to my service, and our call center software that we, maintain it, and it's proprietary. We'll just see that they're calling. I forget who I'm speaking to. They're calling the law office of Dan Kirby, and all of your information will be pulled up. But we also do new client trainings weekly. So whenever somebody joins our service, all of our staff gets trained on each individual law firm that signs up with us. So they actually know whose law firm they're working for.
Awesome. The next question was asking about, does the pricing change with answering legal, and what is the cost of Lawmatics? I will say the cost of Lawmatics is custom based on the firm size and how many matters and contacts that you bring into Lawmatics. That's something I would definitely have you reach out to our sales team or schedule a demo to figure out what works best and what you're going to need for your firm. I don't have a specific price right off the top of my head. It's pretty dependent on the firm.
So I see Jenny said we currently use Lex Reception. I actually like Lex Reception. I think they do a lot of things really well. I do think I like the way you phrased it. Take it up a notch for your firm, since we integrate with Lawmatics also. I'm a big believer in like our people. I don't know any of the people at Lex Reception. I met them very recently at the ABA Tech Show. They seem like a great organization. I just know that I believe in the way that we train our people and the way that we promote from within. And I believe in our software and our processes. I know that we're probably a bit more expensive than Lex Reception, but we do have different pricing models. So we don't charge for a lot of things that they do. So sometimes people will leave us and say, oh, Lex Reception was cheaper. But sometimes people will come from Lex Reception and say answering legal is cheaper. So it depends on who you ask and how you use it. But we're 100% customizable, and we do have a free trial. So if you want to compare the two services, you don't actually have to leave Lex Reception. You can just forward it to us really quick and then get a real apples to apples comparison. And we don't charge or take a credit card for the free trial. It works the exact way you want it to.
Awesome. And there was another question just asking us to describe the process of how we would go about connecting answering legal and Lawmatics, assuming that they're signed up for both. This is actually an integration on the answering legal side of things, and then they push it over into Lawmatics, and your lead will show up in Lawmatics as a matter. So I'm going to actually let Nick talk about how they get that connected.
Yeah, so I was actually fortunate enough to be involved in the establishment of the integration. So I know a little bit about how it works. I don't write API code. I'm not that smart. I would never claim to be that smart. Those people are very smart. They work here. I love them. So what actually happens is when we build an integration, and when we built the integration with Lawmatics, we wanted to make sure that we were matching our software to the way that Lawmatics actually works. So what we do is we built on to our API in our software the ability to match our fields to the Lawmatics forms. So whatever questions, or like I call them fields. So like think of fields as like a web form, because it is a web form. Like name, email, phone number, type of law, date of arrest, any question that you can think of that you would put on a form in Lawmatics, we simply match our fields to make sure we're first of all asking those questions on the phone, and then those data fields match perfectly, so that when we go to send you the message, it goes wherever you wanted the message to go to, and then also perfectly carries over into Lawmatics.
There's another question about calendaring integrated into Lawmatics and scheduling appointments. They currently use Calendly. Lawmatics does have a built-in scheduling system. You just have to connect your external calendar and it'll pull from your availability. You can also include that on forums if you need to. So once that lead comes in, if they're a qualified lead, for example, you can start automating those follow-up emails and texts, trying to get them to schedule a consultation, and it'll just use whatever availability that you wanted to include on that form. So you won't need a separate software. So you wouldn't need to use Calendly anymore if you're just using Answering Legal and Lawmatics.
Love that answer. What's the price of both Answering Legal and Lawmatics? You know, I think we still have to work that out. I do know that my company is offering an incentive if you are a Lawmatics customer and you want to come to Answering Legal, I think we're offering a $300 off like credit towards service with Answering Legal. But we have a free trial, and any salesperson you speak with is going to know that, and they're going to like drop that right in your face. So if you want to check out Answering Legal, you just go to answeringlegal.com. Smith AI. Oh, the price comparison with Smith AI, I'm sorry, I'm going to take this one, is so they actually bill per call and we bill by the minute. So, and this is just me, but if I was comparing the two of those, if I'm getting paid by the call, I would want to rush off the phone call. That sort of incentivizes them to be a little bit more speedy on the phone call, whereas we want to make sure that we're taking the appropriate time to have a legitimate conversation with your caller. Make sure that they feel heard. We actually do empathy training and legal jargon training to make sure that they can actually participate in these high-level conversations. I know that that also scares people away and says, well, you're going to spend all this time on the phone with my callers. They don't want to spend all day on the phone with us. They want to make sure that they're hiring an attorney. So we try to find that there's a happy medium. I don't think that they're really that comparable. I respect Smith AI. I love their technology and I love their marketing. And again, I actually met them at ABA Tech Show too. So we're all competitors, but like competition is a good thing, right? So I think people should check everybody out and whatever works best for you is what you should ultimately go with. But if you like paying per call, that's awesome. If you like paying per minute, you've got Answering Legal.
Awesome. All right. And then it looks like we've covered almost everything. The last one what about collecting consultation fees? With Lawmatics, if you are scheduling through Lawmatics, you can add it's called a payment block onto your form so that before they can or while they're booking something, they also are required to pay a consultation fee. So that's all on one form, and it can be one smooth process as well. It depends on your intake process. And it can also depend on your practice areas, but you don't have to include that consultation fee. It's totally up to you, but it is an option.
I love that answer. And for a couple of our customers, we've started sending out outbound texts to the customer, to the caller when the phone call's over. So what you can do is automate that process and take that Lawmatics collection fee link, and then it's just a follow-up that goes as part of your process to make sure that they get it in a text message or they get it in an email. You can do it from both places.
Yeah. And so when you build out a form in Lawmatics, you can also generate a link specific to that form. So like Nick said, if you wanted to follow up through Answering Legal with a text message, you can just include that form link if you wanted to in the text. So it's just another way for Answering Legal and Lawmatics to work together.
Does Answering Legal integrate with other case management softwares? We do, but we're on with Lawmatics right now. No, we integrate with most other case management softwares. I think it would be easier for me to collect a list of people we don't integrate with. Does Answering Legal have a central location with a call center, or do you have people working remotely around the US that are answering calls? So we actually used to have a central location with a call center, and I would like to take the time to shout out our amazing team here, because when COVID hit, they weren't allowed to come here anymore. And I was scared we were going to go out of business and that I was going to go bankrupt. Fortunately for us, we had the ability to go remote. So now we do hire from 3 locations. We hire in Florida, in North Carolina, and still obviously in our central location in New York. Our call center is located in New York, but we do have the ability to have people work remote, which is really good for hiring purposes too, honestly.
Yeah, it's true. the other question that just popped up was, is the virtual receptionist like a call center? Can they transfer live leads? I think that's
Is it, can I transfer live leads? If you mean like when they call in and they're interested and they want to hire you, can I transfer that phone call to you? Absolutely. The only thing we don't offer right now is like outbound phone calls. So like you can't send forms to us and we'll call them for you. That is in beta. So it will be coming out at some point this year. I would like to say Q3, but as of right now, we're strictly inbound. We strictly answer phone calls.
we're going to close out here. This was brought to you by Lawmatics and Answering Legal, new integration. If you're not using both of us, you should. And then just a quick wrap up. Lawmatics, we are a legal CRM for law firms, help you automate your process. So taking that work off of your shoulders, putting it onto ours. It's like a one-stop shop for the intake process. So like we talked about in that, in the questions, we can help with your calendaring, forms, e-signature documents. It's just an all-in-one central spot for you to go to.
Cool. This is me. So Answering Legal, we're 24/7. We work exclusively with law firms. So you don't have to worry that your receptionist is answering for some painting company and then getting on the phone and fumbling around a phone call for your, prestigious law firm. So we can handle full legal intake. We customize everything. We can make changes on the fly. We have a 24-hour dedicated support team that's live. You're not dealing with AI chats that drive me crazy, where you type that you have a problem and they send you a resource. We help live. So for a limited time, law firms who try Answering Legal can get 400 minutes of free service. I know there is a promotion for Lawmatics customers. So if you use Lawmatics and you're looking for a reason to try Answering Legal, there's something, I don't know what it is. I apologize. I'm supposed to be the marketing guy. I'm not the sales
It's something.
guy.
Just know it's something.
Yeah.
Just keep it general. I want to thank Nick for doing this webinar with Lawmatics, and thank you all for joining. We really appreciate it.
Devon, thank you so much. You're a wonderful co-host, and thanks for having us on. I appreciate it.
You as well. All right. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. Bye-bye.